time to talk about Valspar. Joining me is Sam Wagman. You might know him because he's on the show every single week. Sam, how's it going?
Doing well. It's been tough for betting golf lately. It's now 3 straight weeks that I've had an outright in the final pairing that hasn't won. It's pretty bad, but I definitely nailed the players from like a prediction standpoint. I had Wyndham, I had Xander top 20, I had a lot of other guys top 20, I had Rory first round leader, but no outrights. So got to change that this week.
Yeah, Xander top 10 every single week has been extremely profitable. So has Scotty top 5. Didn't have Scotty outright. Wish I had Scotty outright. Luckily for everyone, no Scotty this week as the Florida swing continues on.
But I can still get odds on him, right? Like I can still get odds on him to win.
Somehow Scotty's still going to win. Even though he's not playing, he's still going to win. The favorite this week is Xander plus 800. Not sure if that's moved since I looked. He's off another blown lead. Thoughts on Xander here? I feel like as much he's gonna win eventually. I just don't know how many years or fucking tournaments it's gonna take.
Is he? Because this is now. I'm trying to remember the exact stat. I want to say it is 16 final pairings since 2020 for him, and he's won 2 of them. Yeah. And I don't think either of them, outside of the Tour Championship, the other one wasn't a high-profile tournament. So it's starting to get a little freaky for Xander, I think, at this point. Like, is he going to take that step that, everyone's been saying he's going to take for the last 3 years? I'm not so sure anymore. I don't think he's got that killer instinct.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. And I haven't, it's hard to figure out as far as Xander goes. And I think going into Sunday, I was like, oh, he's going to finally do it. Like, thank God. Like, I feel like we've been waiting for this.
It certainly seemed like he was going to for like half of that round, right? He had a 2-shot lead at one point. He was at 20 under. Both Scotty and Wyndham were back at 18 at the time. And I thought, Xander's going to conquer his demons. And then just that putt on 17, no dog in him at all whatsoever. Yeah. And then just the 2 bogeys on the back 9 put him out of it. Just did not get it going, with the fairway finder when he absolutely needed to.
Yeah, and I think, too, we've talked about this a lot on the show, off air, too. It's really hard to bet guys when the numbers look kind of like this. Scotty, like if I don't want to bet Scotty at plus 500, I definitely don't want to bet Xander at plus 800. I think I can stomach betting Scotty, but we also talked about this before we get a little bit more into this tournament because I know that's what it's about. I think the way to bet Scotty now is to either live bet him like after day 1, day 2. I think you're going to find more value that way, or you wait until, these boosts come out and then you can kind of add that on. But I don't know that it's even taking Scotty you might as well find a way around it.
Yeah, I mean, Scotty is now a 4.5 to 1 favorite to win the Masters. The Masters. Like this is starting to get borderline like ridiculous at this point. Like I'm gonna stop short of saying the name that everyone has started to attach here because I'm not sure we're quite there yet. But he's starting to get there, and it's really quite unnerving to kind of think about that. In a season where we started off with 6 straight winners of 100 to 1 or fewer odds, and then we just get this barrage of Scotty leading up to major season, it's a little disconcerting because we don't really know what to think. Because outside of all these winners, it's just been Scotty dominating. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see, how the next couple months shake out. I'm still not convinced Scotty can win outside of the months of February to April because he's just never done it. So that'll be interesting to see, but no Scotty this week, thankfully. So yeah, let's get on to Valspar. Yeah. I am going to full fade Xander at 8 to 1. I want no part of it. 0 part of, he hasn't played this tournament, that much. He's only played it once. He had a top 12 finish in 2022. But I don't know. I think that especially coming off last week, what a heartbreaker that was. I can't see it from him.
Yeah, kind of why I've been betting him top 10 every time he's in the field is just he's not winning. At the end of the day, he's not winning tournaments. Like, you can throw whatever stats you want. He's going to be in the top 3 of my model probably every single week, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get there as far as an outright, especially at plus 800. We've got one of the toughest scoring tournaments here at Valspar. Really challenging tee shots. Accuracy kind of plays a little bit into this year. Very narrow fairways. Off the tee definitely matters a little bit more than some of these past weeks. Putting kind of similar to what we've seen. It's really a ball striker's course. So what did you look at? I weighed par 5 scoring too a little bit more than most people, but I'll let you take off into what you looked at.
Yeah, so looking at what we saw last year, we had Taylor Moore, who is a Bermuda putting specialist and just a known par 5 absolute crusher. Apart from him, we had Spieth in the mix as well, who just, relies on his scrambling to win everywhere and just doing special things around the course. But ultimately, his off the tee game did him in. He hit a couple drives into the water down the stretch. And then Adam Schenk, who, putted incredibly well. Remember, he holed like a 70-foot putt down the stretch last year. Thought he was going to win off of that, and Moore just kind of came from behind. But, Wyndham Clark was also there as well. He finished in the top 5 last year, and then Sam Burns. So ultimately, what this comes down to me, from seeing the guys that have contended year over year, is not only guys who play well at this course, but guys who just do really well on those Bermuda surfaces and play the par 5s really well, because those are the 2 stats that keep coming up over and over and over again for me. Yeah, being able to scramble here is really important. And then obviously ball striking is always going to be important.
And I think coming in really good form has proven to be a good thing as well. Mm-hmm. You also look at like tee to green, like strokes gained as far as that goes. You look at every winner since 2019, they've been 5th or better in strokes gained tee to green. So that's something that I looked at as well. You say all those things, right? We talk about all these things. It's really hard not to go back to the Jordan Spieth because it like kind of defines him here, but I can't do it. I'm not going to get my feelings hurt again, but it is kind of a course where Jordan Spieth, it does make sense. Are you fading him entirely because of what we've seen?
So I talked about this last night a little bit, and I was kind of going back and forth with some people on Twitter about this when we were discussing, some guys to look at and some guys to fade, kind of course horses. And Spieth certainly fits into that mold of, a course horse. He's played well here. Really, I thought I had him as an outright last year. Thought he was going to easily take this down, coming down the stretch, and then he just goes all Spiethian off the tee, hits a ball into the water, makes double bogey on that hole, knocks him out of the lead there. So too often that's what we've seen Spieth do on these tougher courses, just plays himself out of position, and he can only make these heroic scrambling shots so often in a round. While we know he's going to make them, the question is, can his good outweigh the bad and just stupid decisions that he makes? And I'm just not sure that he can do it. I'm not really in love with the form that he's showing coming into this week. Didn't really look great last week at the Players, but he hasn't really looked good for the past couple months either. Yeah. So I might end up finding a way to play Spieth in, a DFS capability. I did play him for a first round leader because he came up well on the model here for that, but I don't really have faith in him playing a complete 4 rounds here and being able to best this course. Yeah,
it's really annoying. I tweeted last week, like, he finds a way to make everything so fucking difficult. And, we think of Jordan as like this very creative golfer. And in a way, it's because he's a pain in the ass. Like, he genuinely puts himself in situations where it's like, oh, there's Spieth again, like hitting from the chips. Like, why are you doing that all the time? Like, can you just play the good golf that we know you can play? He makes things way too difficult. I don't know that I can get into it again. First round leader, I can definitely get behind. But let's get into smash or pass. Let's talk about some of these other names, starting with who I like to call sex icon, the sex icon that is Keith Mitchell, top 30 plus 125 smash or pass.
Well, I'm here for visor gang at this point. We're putting on the visors for this one. Mitchell, smasher pass, top 30, plus 125. One of my favorite bets of this week. It's an emphatic smash for me here. I mean, he is the total driving king. He, in this field, we're measuring total driving, which is a measure of driving distance and driving accuracy. Strokes gained off the tee is one of the most important metrics to look at Innisbrook Copperhead course. You got some narrow fairways here. You got some penal rough on either side. You want to hit those fairways. It'll make things so much easier on you. And Keith Mitchell ranks 9th on the PGA Tour over the past couple of years in total driving. So really like him, but I also wasn't expecting him to come first in my model this week. So that was a nice surprise as well.
Yeah.
He's got 2 appearances of Valspar in his career. He's got a T11 and a T69. So nice. Hasn't played this event.
Very nice. Sex icon, see, very on brand. The stars are aligning here.
Absolutely. Has not played this event since 2021, but I'm not too worried about that. Plays really well in Florida. He's coming off a nice appearance at the Cognizant Classic, a nice little top 10 there. He's got a solid run of form coming in as well. We're gonna throw out the players. He finished T72 last week there, but T17 at Waste Management Phoenix Open, T19 at the Mexico Open, and again that T9 at the Cog. So I really like the run of form he's in right now. I do like to play PGA National as a comp course to Innisbrook. Not a Pete Dye track, but, Innisbrook does have a lot of comparisons to it when you take out the fact that it's a little bit longer than a typical Pete Dye track by about 400 yards. And I really like the way that his profile sets up at Innisbrook. His putting and chipping around the green is always going to be a little bit of a liability for him, which is why I'm taking the, a little bit further down the board and going T30 instead of a T20 or, an outright play here. But at 125, I absolutely love the number, a little bit of a weaker field. So give me Keith Mitchell here.
Yeah. And listen, I'm buttoning a couple of the buttons. Like, I'm all in on Keith Mitchell this week. He also rated out very well for me. I'm all in. Top 3 of my model. He's, like you said, playing some good golf right now. Takeaway last week, we'll ignore it. He's top 10 in this field in par 5 scoring. Like we mentioned before, I put quite an emphasis on that. And also in strokes gains on approach, I like Keith Mitchell here. So I did bet him outright. Totally cool with the T30. I'm going to smash as well with you. For the next one, turning to, I think just in our Twitter circle and our community kind of popular, but he's very quietly kind of on fire. I mean, this guy has 5 straight top 20s. It's Doug Ghim. Pat Mayo likes to call the Ghim Reaper. Smasher pass, Doug Ghim, top 20 plus 225.
So I have not gotten in on Ghim as much as everyone else, and it's definitely affected my bankroll because I'm missing out on some basically free money. You gave him out top 20 plus 350, I think it was last week. Was an absolute gold mine of a bet that I was looking at a few days in. I was like wondering just why did I not take this guy? His electric putt from 60 feet on 17, I think it was on Saturday.
Yeah,
it was incredible. Just watching him, it was like Tiger-esque on that putt at Augusta from 15, 20 years ago, where he's just stalking the edge of the green and just massive fist bumps. I am absolutely a fan of this. Rated out really well in my model as well. Top 7 pick there. Lots of green across the board for Ghim from where I'm standing. He's a great Bermuda putter, good in bogey avoidance, par 4 scoring, fairway proximity from 175 plus. All rates out good for me. So I'm right on board here. I'll end up swinging on this with you as well. I'm not sure I'm going to get there on an outright, but I will definitely get there on the placement.
Yeah, I took him on the outright. I also, if you don't want to fully get in, but you want some Ghim action, I think the top 30 at plus 105 is still if you want to get in a little bit, but you don't want to do too much, totally in on you going that direction. 5 consecutive starts, getting over a stroke on approach. He's gained 3 strokes putting and back-to-back starts. Very important here, especially at this tournament. And he's gained strokes off the tee in all of his starts this season. So I think once he fully puts it all together, which he kind of has, he's just playing good golf right now. So I got there in the outright. I got it at 70-1. It opened at 80-1. It's down, some books down to 40-1. So again, there's money coming in on Gim. So I think taking the top 20, taking the top 30 just to feel a little something. I think Doug Gim is worth betting. It's just up to everyone else which direction they want to go.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with him.
Okay, let's go to the pipsqueak, Mr. Brian Harmon. Smash or pass, Brian Harmon, outright, 25-1.
Yeah, so again, someone I've been discussing on Twitter, and I want to play a caveat here with Harmon. I'm fading him this week because the outright number is absolutely atrocious. There's someone who said this on Twitter the other day. I cannot remember for the life of me. I want to say it was Brian Kirshner. Guy's got a absolute way with words.
Yeah,
betting Brian Harmon at 50-1 or less feels like I want to poke hot needles in my eyes. That is the kind of like vibe I get when seeing a Brian Harmon sub 50 number. 25-1 almost made me throw up yesterday when I saw it. It is possibly just a horrifically bad number, a massive oversight to a guy who is playing some truly outrageously good golf right now. But I just don't know if this is his place. Has not played well at Innisbrook in his career. He's got 6 missed cuts in 9 starts here. Just not good. His best finish is a top 5 finish in 2022 here, but I don't know if he's going to be able to put it together here. He's coming off 2 really emotionally charged performances, obviously including nearly getting into that playoff with everyone else at the top of the players last week. I just don't know if this is going to be his place to put it all together. Definitely has all the talent in the world here, but I completely disagree with the number. I want to say, from a one and done standpoint, I could absolutely understand like him, just being a fixture in the top 5 or 10. So if you're looking for a safe pick this week, he could definitely be there because he possesses the upside, but his course history here coupled with the number is just a firm stay away for me. And his placement numbers aren't that great either. He's only top plus 115 for a top 20, which isn't terrible, but I just would not be taking, anything else with him.
Yeah, I'm passing as well, mainly because
and he's down to 20-1 now. Like it's just ridiculous.
Very, very, very public. I hate that. If you watch the football show, I go the other direction the second that the public jumps on someone. I see Bet Rivers has a plus 150 on his top 20. Totally in on that. Cool.
Yeah, I could get behind that.
I'm down. I can get behind that. I can maybe get behind the top 10 as well. I'm going to tell you guys right now, the dude needs to get bigger pants. They're way too tight. We're seeing way too much on the course. But I mean, yes, he's coming off of his best approach performance this past week. He's got 2 top 10s, 4 top 25. He's giving Xander. That's what he's giving now. Like, it's like almost there. Good form. I'm not betting on it. Everyone's on him. So I'm out I'm passing on Brian Harmon.
Full fade.
Yeah, I'm out. Maybe he sneaks into a DFS lineup or 2, but at this point, not the vibe I'm with right now. We'll go next one here. Another outright. Smash or pass, Sam Burns, 12-1.
All right. So this is the only, I had a list of guys who I was okay betting it outright with this time. But I cannot get behind Burns going. Is he going to go for the 3-peat here? Like, if anybody makes sense, it's probably him. Really, really had a good, I was hoping that he didn't finish as well at the Players, so the number wouldn't be inflated that much. Have to think that this number moved from being 16 or 17-1 to 12-1 after he zoomed up the leaderboard on Sunday morning of the Players. But I don't know. I really want to, I don't have a real reason to fade him. I just my vibes are not there on Sam Burns right now for some reason. All the talent in the world, but has the innate ability to just fuck it up like for one and a half days and completely play himself out of the tournament, just poorly placed rounds, just trying to do a little bit too much, like almost Spiethian in that regard, where he's just like trying to do a little bit too much, make everything look a little bit too cool, and in the process just like throws himself into an 8 somewhere. So, you know, I'm not going to say that there's like and like a real reason to fade him. I'm fading the number here with him.
Yes. So it's funny. I have 3 notes next to his name. I don't, and I already don't. I just bullet point anyways, and I just talk from whatever I want to say. But these are the 3 bullet points, and I'll read them word for word. No. Rated out well, won already too many times here, and then I'm just not doing it. That's where I'm at. He could win again, like he could. And I told myself up until this point, I've been saying, oh, I'm going to wait till Valspar. I'm going to bet Burns at Valspar, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to wait till Texas. Like, maybe I'll get back on.
Yeah, Colonial.
Yeah. I'm not doing it at the 12-1. If he wins, like, again, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, it's so shocking. But he's also one of those guys that I think week to week could win whenever. He just, like, it's just Sam Burns, and I'm out this week.
Yeah, I said that I tweeted this a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was last week. I don't know. They all blend together at this point. Sam Burns has the most talent of any golfer on the PGA Tour that has the innate ability to fuck up their round in one shot. Like one of the most prodigious skill sets I've ever seen on the PGA Tour, and just sometimes just plays like a junior varsity golfer just for reasons unknown. And for that reason, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out. We sound like we're on Shark Tank. Okay, next one here. Smash or pass, Cam Young, T20, top 20 plus 120.
Sign me up for another sneaky Cam Young under the radar, placement finish here. Nice number, plus 120 here. Has never played here, so like it could be like beginner's luck kind of vibe to him. Coming off a week at the Players where it felt like a lot of people were on him and didn't really play that well. And before that, he was at the Cognizant where everyone kind of knew he was going to be there, but he was playing in the shadow of Rory McIlroy for 3 days and just kind of, zoomed under the radar to a nice little top 5 finish there. I'm going to rely on some comp course results here with him. PGA National, like I just said, top 4, top 3 at Harbor Town a few years ago. Obviously, these are much more positional courses that line up with how Innisbrook kind of lays themselves out there. And again, he plays well when the eyes aren't on him as much. I don't think the eyes will be on Cam Young as much this week to succeed. I haven't really seen that many people talking about him as much as a potential winner. And that kind of almost led me to take him as an outright. I haven't really decided whether I'm going to or not. And I think he may end up on the outright card for me. And then he ranks 3rd in strokes gained total difficult conditions in his last 24 rounds, which I really like. Guy comes out to play at these harder tracks. That is his game. So, sign me up for a tournament where he doesn't have to rely on his putting as much, which has quietly been pretty good on Bermuda over his last, handful of tournaments there. So Cam Young, top 20, I'm in.
What is he outright?
Currently 22. And some books he's 25, 22 on DraftKings.
Like, I would rather take Brian Harmon though at 25-1. If we're going to be honest, I'd rather take neither of them. I think I'm going to smash T20. I might change my opinion on him. He might make it onto my card. I can get behind maybe him being a first round leader look for me. He might be a top 10 look. I will dive in a little bit more. His long irons are dialed. He's top 10 in, proximity from 175 plus.
Yep.
And then, you look at what he's done. His last 4 starts gained at least 1.5 strokes off the tee and approach. 2 things we're looking at this week, a lot of weeks. So I'm going to smash the T20. I I could see myself getting sold on a few other bets potentially in outright, but I will say if he misses the cut, it'll be the least shocking thing I've ever seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I don't disagree with that.
And I hate that because I think he's either going to find success, like he's going to be top 20, or we're going to be like, wow, what the fuck were we saying on the show on Tuesday?
Yeah, I definitely think that there's, he's got a very, high ceiling, low floor type vibe to his game right now. But again, I just can't shake it. Some of these guys are just, hardcore big game hunters. He's one of them.
Yeah. Speaking of what the fuck was Steph talking about on Tuesday, Bud Cauley. Who had some Bud this week? Anyone? Bud Cauley, top 40, plus 130, smash or pass?
I'm gonna smash it. I really
Sam.
I really like it. I love me some Bud Cauley time to time and rarely get him in pre-tournament, but you rated out highly in the model for me, inside my top 15. And dude, besides the feel good vibe of like his story, like he's been playing some quietly good golf.
Oh, yeah.
He was leading at the Cognizant through 2 rounds. Like he's playing some good golf right now. And this is a guy that I never thought would see play on the PGA Tour again after that car accident. So I'm just really in for it. Guy loves his Florida golf. He's always played well in Florida throughout his entire career. So sign me up, top 40. I'm going to find a book where I can bet top 40s, and I'm going to sprinkle me on some Bud Cauley.
I can put it in for you. Bud Cauley is only on my radar because I needed to pick another mulligan up because my season long golf league that everyone knows about. Like for some reason I'll have 13 guys every fucking week and then 2 of them make the cut. So I've been struggling. So I had to pick up Bud Cauley. Picked him up. I've been pleasantly very surprised. So we're all in. I'm calling it right now, which he kind of already is, but Bud Cauley is my last year Chez Reavie. So for people that watched the show last year, Chez Reavie won me so much fucking money because the books didn't catch on with the fact that like he was just top 40 every week. Like he was finishing 37, whatever it was. Top 21, T21 last time we saw him. He's gained, fuckload of strokes off the tee. Like he's playing good golf. You think driving accuracy from when you've seen Bud Cauley, that's something he has always thrived in. I don't think that top 40 is asking a lot from a guy who's in solid form. Like, is he in the best form? Is he in fantastic form? No. But Bud Cauley looks good right now. So Bud Cauley, top 40, give it to me. Plus 130, come on. I'm cool with you getting down with the top 20 if you want to go that way. It's also my dad bet this week. Like, I'm going all in. Bud Cauley's my guy. He's my dad bet. Before I find out your dad bet, there's one golfer that I want to ask you about that I did not text you about because I wanted to see what we talked about when we brought him up. Tony Finau hasn't played Valspar since 2018, missed cut. He also, though, has he came in 5th in 2017 here, T45 last week. Last 5, he has 3 top 20s, top 6, T13. I'm thinking, like, you know what it is? I think it's the accuracy off the tee and the putting that's going to concern me here. But hear me out. If he does, I don't know. Is there a little bit of value on Tony? Maybe not outright, but somewhere else that we could find?
He came up strong in my model.
Me too. And I can't ignore
at the end of the day, I really worry about his putting. Like I'm really, really worried about his putting, and that'll play such a big thing here. And his, I do like the fact that this isn't going to be, a tournament that relies on it kind of being into a putting contest. But these are some really tough greens here. This is one of the courses on tour that has some similarity to these Donald Ross style greens that are kind of all over the place. They break everywhere. And Tony has just not been on the money with these putts at all lately. That was the one, one of the consistencies that I saw looking at this tournament last year is that all of these guys were strong putting. There were only 2 guys in the top 25 that did not gain strokes putting last year. And that just worries the crap out of me with Tony. And it's a reason why I left him off. I'm not sure. He's one of the better long iron players on the tour. He's really, really solid off the tee. His ball striking and just approach game is there, but the putting and the chipping are 2 things that give me a little bit of pause with him. So I'm going to take a look at some of the placement numbers for him. I think, top 20 plus 130 might be in the cards, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get there outright at a 25 to 1 number.
I don't think so either. I don't think I will get there at the outright. But again, I think I want to have action on Tony. I will decide what that looks like. I'll probably put it on Picket before I put it on Twitter. But what I like about Tony this week is that no one's on him. And I feel like the weeks that we haven't had these super strong fields, what happens is someone comes out of left field, right field, whatever you want to call it. And Tony feels like a guy that could end up doing that. Usually I like to bet Tony, towards the back end of the season. But I think like the plus 130, like you said, at a top 20 is somewhere I can get behind. What is your dad bet of the week?
So my dad bet is someone that I talked about. I told you about earlier in the week. And he had a great Sunday before he fell back a little bit. But it is a great week to be a Sam, whether your name's Sam Burns or it's Sam Ryder. So Sam Ryder, top 40, plus 110. One of the better Bermuda putters in this field, which, again, is always going to be, shooting you way up my ranks for this tournament here. He's got 3 missed cuts at Valspar, but he did finish T19 last year. Really like the way he's been playing, coming in with some good form coming in here. Another comp course for me, Sedgefield Country Club. He's only got 1 missed cut and 7 tries there. He's got a handful of top 40 finishes there. And then TPC Southwind as well. He's got a couple top 40s there. And he's a really solid par 5 scorer, or par 4 scorer, excuse me. But I really like the way, his golf game is settling up right now. Again, top 40, the bar is not set high at all. All we realistically need him to do is make the cut, middle of the pack, and then kind of just hold steady through the weekend there. So Sam Ryder, top 40, my dad bet of the week.
I love it. We'll jump around a little bit because he's actually my dart throw of the week. I like the 100 to 1. I think he's playing some really good golf right now for Sam Ryder. And like stats aside, we're going to go off like vibes alone. I watch this kid and I'm telling you, like a win is like, he's like flirting with just like putting it together. I think he wants to win. He's dialed in. I also like him first round leader. That's 80 to 1. So I like both those 80 to 1. I like him as my dart 100 to 1. So we'll jump around. What's your dart throw?
Ooh, so my dart throw is a guy that I think like 6 weeks ago I said I cannot stand this guy. I am not sure I will ever bet him because I know he'll disappoint me. But he's really starting to grow on me. The iron game is absolutely immaculate with him. Kevin Yu, 100 to 1. Just really love the way that he shakes out for a course like this that is going to be so dependent on ball striking and your tee to green game and par 5 scoring. Like, he really just fits the bill for me. The putting is the issue here, but again, that's why he's 100 to 1. But he does rank 9th in my model. First in tee to green strokes gained in this field, 3rd in ball striking, 1st in bogey avoidance, 13th in par 5 scoring. Just tons of green all over the board for Kevin Yu. We've seen him make quite a few runs this year. Had a top 10 at the Cognizant. He has 2 other top 10s alongside that. He's a great long iron player from the 175 plus proximity. Just really good. Looking good at and thought he might win the American Express earlier this year. Another kind of similar course in the, a desert style mold to Innisbrook just really has started to come on. One of those Corn Ferry youngsters that obviously has no history at Valspar or any of the other comp courses, but he's definitely shaping up like he could be a winner at some point very soon. We've seen a couple of those Corn Ferry guys win already this year with Pavone and Knapp. Wouldn't shock me to see a third here in a semi-weak field, Kevin Yu.
I'm really proud of you. I feel like you're going back to guys that you were like, I cannot stand this guy. You're really like opening up to some of these guys. You mentioned Corn Ferry. I just want to also make an announcement before we get into our one and dones. Not that I'm stalling or anything. No, I'm not. But Ben Coles is officially my least favorite person on planet Earth. I think he is.
Oh, I was wondering when you were going to get to this.
No. He's a horrible golfer. He's on my no bet list. I think he gives no effort. I don't care what he did a couple weeks ago. It's unbearable that I drafted him. I was so proud of myself. I'm like, oh yeah, look at this.
I remember.
I'm out. I'm done. 9 over on. I mean, come on, you're not even trying at this point. So we're out on Ben Coles. Who is your one and done this week? Oh no!
I'm going back to someone here.
No, you're not.
I'm going back to Justin Thomas this week.
Fucking A, I was gonna do it. Okay, all right, go ahead, go.
He's played so well here. 3 top 10s, 5 top 20s, only 1 miscut in 6 tries here. Obviously has played really well in Colonial. Managed top 10 here last year, despite being one of 2 golfers in the entire field or in the top 25 that lost strokes putting. But the results have been there this year. And again, I've said it twice on this show. I'm not really taking too much stock in last week's players. And I prefer to look at some greener pastures with JT. He's really been playing well. He's got 4 top 12s this year. The golf does look back to its kind of normal form for him. And it's about time for that he, sacks up and finally wins a golf tournament again. There's absolutely no reason why it cannot be here for JT. So the number is really, really shitty, 14-1, but I'm going for it. He will be my only guy inside the top 20 or the 20-1 marker that I have this week.
Okay, a few things here. One, I do think the best approach to this week is kind of taking one of these top guys, and then if you want to go ahead and sprinkle otherwise, go ahead and do that. We both play fantasy football. We know about the fantasy football Twitter community. Cherry picking is something that people love to do. I've noticed with Justin Thomas, it's very easy to cherry pick because he's played well at a lot of places. And I'm talking myself out of it because he was going to be my one and done too, but now I have to talk myself out of it. We could just count it as an off week, or we could just count it as Justin Thomas playing the last 18 months.
But he was playing well for 2 months before then.
Fine, it's fair. I don't.
It's unfair to write him off for 1 week at a weird track where I don't know, because I went into last week thinking, oh my God, Justin Thomas is my guy to pick this week as well. He was going to be my one and done on last week's show, before everything happened. So I don't know, it feels like he could be back, but at the same time, I'd be an idiot not to, consider your side and just me literally cherry picking or subconsciously cherry picking. I don't know. I'm gonna talk myself out of it before the end of the show.
I'm gonna be very upset.
Who is your one?
I'm gonna be very upset if you end up being right. I am going to take the easy route and go with my first click, and that was sex icon Keith Mitchell, 40-1. He rated out too well for me. I don't feel comfortable taking Doug Gim. I'm going to try to take the top of my model, and he was one of those guys. So I'm going to go with Keith Mitchell. I won't be surprised if Justin Thomas wins. I also won't be surprised if he misses the cut. You've done better, I think, than me on some of these one and done. So maybe there's something to it. Did you plan on saying Justin Thomas, or did you just decide?
No, I did not. I went with Justin Thomas about 10 minutes into the show.
Great.
My original one and done was one of my first clicks in Minwoo Lee. And I pivoted. But I will still be on Minwoo Lee. And then, obviously I'm going with, a consortium of other guys, Adam Schenk. I will also be on Keith Mitchell outright as well. And I do think I'm going to be on Cam Young, which is my dumb fuck bet of the week. So,
Oh my gosh. Before we get out of here, first round leader candidates. I have to tell you one that I did bet. See what you think. Because I want to bet him because I hate when a guy rates out well and you're like, oh God, I cannot bet you. There's a 0% chance. That guy for me this week was Mav. I can't do it. Like, there's no way I'm betting him. I'm going to bet him first round leader. Is there a guy that you're looking at first round leader if you were to give one guy right now?
Yeah, so you have my list of first round leaders that I took. I took 6 of them. I'm going with Daniel Berger to be the first round leader here.
I don't say that name, but I think we could.
I know, but like everything lines up here for Berger. Really solid play. Look, tough scoring conditions, Florida swing, accuracy and shot shaping being prominent keys. Like, this is, it shapes up really well for Daniel Berger. And, despite the little bit we've seen of him this year, like this is a course where he can take advantage of. And I don't have his results here off the top of my head. I know he's played here before, but it does feel like a course that's going to shape up really well to him. So he is one of the guys I took 75-1. And I sprinkled a couple of long shots, but the only guy at the top of the board that I went with for a first round leader was Spieth. So
watch Daniel Berger end up winning this thing. All right, Sam, remind the people where they can find you, and we will get out of here.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Swagman95. All the golf content, NFL content, and Formula One content over at the Game Day and the Game Day NFL. You can find them on Twitter as well. But, always a pleasure, always a blast. God. And we will be back next week to moan and groan over Justin Thomas. Well, Steph will be here to moan and groan. I will be celebrating with Justin Thomas.
Yeah. And if you haven't joined my March Madness Survivor Leagues, go do that. They're going to be a blast. Arizona will end up breaking my heart in the Final Four, but that's okay.
That's my fault because I bet them.
Yep. I will blame it on you. All right, guys. We'll see you on Friday for the NFL show.
Watch him make it, break it, break it, break it.